blue?
Our goal today is the Great Taste of Pharloom wish. To complete it, you need to collect 5 ingredients, one of them being the Courier Rasher, which decays over time. Normally, you collect this one last, but today we're gonna collect all the other ingredients during the Rasher delivery. This run was considered impossible by many people, and honestly it almost is. I need to optimize every room and utilize every little piece of tech that saves time. The first one is Transbrew, which you can see here. You can use Flea Brew while being pushed into a transition, skipping the animation and saving time every single time, as you can see again here. You should also know that sitting on a bench pauses the Rasher time, so I can swap my build before fighting for our first ingredient besides the Rasher, the Vintage Nectar. This is the only section in the run where we actually have to fight enemies, but we still need the best possible build for it. Shaman Crest combined with Volt Filament and Barbed Bracelet is enough to one-shot almost every enemy we are about to face. And here I'm just gonna let you enjoy this absolute cinema. Yeah, this was planned incredibly carefully, and it's still being performed by a human, not a task. But there are even harder things coming up. For example, one of the jumps on the way out is surprisingly stupid, despite not looking difficult at all. You can guess which one. And here's another piece of tech. You can up/slash here to skip the ledge grab animation, as you can see. Of course, I'm swapping my crest back here. You might also notice that I'm using Shell Satchel, which means this challenge can only be performed in Silksong. I spent 4 hours setting up this save with debug mod, but there is no QOL mod involved, because even tiny time saves would be crucial in this challenge. I'm also using Volt Filament to kill this enemy on the way in, but sometimes it gets voided and survives anyway. And this jump right here is the worst one in the entire run. I still don't understand why it's so hard to pull off while running, but I guess it doesn't matter anymore. And just like that, we got our second ingredient. Now we need to make our way all the way back to Belhart. Yes, backtracking is our only option, since there are still 2 more ingredients left to collect. This section was a little scary and completely unplanned. Oh, I should also talk about the build I'm using. Obviously, I have Silk Speed Anklets, and I already mentioned Shell Satchel. But can you guess what the last yellow tool is? It's the weighted belt. It makes you fall faster, despite the fact that the description never mentions it. Funny enough, it's also the only yellow tool that's actually useful for this run, and I honestly doubt that the challenge would be even possible without it. Now we're finally back in Belhart, and spent less than half of the Rasher's durability. That alone is already an insane achievement, but we're not done yet. There are way more ridiculous things ahead, and everything I've shown so far is only the tip of the iceberg. Here's a rare chakra jump scare. Sometimes enemies spawn with her and you can run straight into them. Thankfully, this run isn't very RNG dependent, and whenever it is, I found some kind of counterplay to minimize time loss. But this section is absolutely RNG dependent because of these freaking pond bugs. I'm forced to swim through here, and sometimes the bugs block the path and instantly kill the run. Here's another falling section. It probably looks satisfying for you, but I actually need to carefully time my pogo so I don't trigger a hard fall, because the longer I stay airborne in one go, the more time I save. And remember, I'm using weighted belt, so my falling speed here is even faster than normal. But now we've reached the Mossbarry Stew. This time we're sitting on the bench, not to refill our brews, but to change our spell. You can even guess why. This guess is pretty easy, but we still need to think of it in the first place. I need to kill this particular fly, and I can't just slash it, because it can be voided, since we are already in Act 3. This is one of the counterplays I was talking about earlier. And yes, this jump is incredibly hard too. Now we are in Blasted Steps and about to make our final build change. And this one is insane. We're about to see the most overpowered crest in the game, the one that turns almost every boss fight into Hydrogen Bomb versus Coughing Baby, all for the sole purpose of refilling Flea-Brew. Because from this point onward, there are no more benches. Yeah, these are the kinds of strategies I have to come up with. Thankfully, this is exactly what I'm good at, and honestly the reason I started doing challenge runs in the first place. I also want to point out that I was doing all of this live on Twitch, and it's honestly criminal that only one person was there to witness it. And I'm still getting asked about a viewer boost like this one. But let's get back to the run. That room with the Crustnut is a nightmare. I was even forced to kill that coral crab, and that's exactly why I included pin badge in the architect build. But now we've collected every ingredient for the wish. All that's left is reaching Merwin with only 2 durability segments remaining. I also doubt anybody was ever gone through this room backwards, but for our purposes it's actually really convenient. This is also where I use Architect Bind, because I'm about to run out of silk from all the movement tech. The fall in the next room is insane, because I don't have time to hesitate. I'm literally forced to count it down in my head. I also want to give a shout out to this wonderful fella, Bust Up Alligator, for hanging out in my streams and helping me figure out some of the setups for these challenges. And you can do the same if you decide to join. At this point we're already inside the Citadel, but I still need to not get SFT8. I need silk for the Silksong, and I can't afford to waste it all on the anklets. And from here we continue chaining Flea-Brewed wall dashes to save more time. This part is probably the scariest section of the entire run, because that guard can stand slightly farther to the right and I will lose the run. This harpoon right here was the only semi-major mistake in the entire run. From here on, I don't really have much else to say, so I'm just gonna let the original stream audio play. Please, please, please. Please, 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 please. Oh my god, I don't know what I did, but it was faster. Please, 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 please. No! Wait, God! Oh no! Oh my god! Oh my god! There is no way! There is no way! Was I talking about this while this run that I no way? There is no way! And Crustnut. Oh my god, there is no way! I don't. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Now I'm gonna continue playing randomizers, but feel free to leave more challenge ideas in the comments. Also, I will make a separate, more detailed video about this challenge, because there is a lot more to talk about. So subscribe if you don't want to miss it. Thank you for watching, and bye!